If women liked men, why don't women listen to men when they talk? Why, if women liked men, why anytime a man speaks about what's going on with him, why they call it mansplaining? So he can shut up. If women liked men, why aren't women seeking to understand the people that they say they like? Because men understand a lot more about women than women understand about men. And men have to understand women. You know why? Because sex don't come easy to y'all. You have to put in the work to figure out what a woman wants in order for you to get. If women like men, then why is that the reality and not women actually seeking to understand the party that they say they like so much? You like a man, then why are you trying to change everything that makes the man? Why are you trying to transform him into a woman? See, you hate other women. It's too much like right to just get you a girlfriend if you want all of these feminine characteristics. No, you want to force him to do it. If a man turn her down and she can't get her way, you must be gay. So women are actually looking for a woman in a male frame because the reality is women just like sleeping with men. They don't actually like men.
How you feel about the saying like happy wife, happy life? How you feel about that?
I think it's bogus. Women think the relationship is all about them. They do. Everything is centered around what she wants. And if that's fine, in her mind, everything is cool. And she does not care what the man is going through. She don't care what his challenges are or any of those things. So what ends up happening, the male believes that he keeps the marriage together because if he goes to cheat or whatever, like those 41 shades, for different reasons, they left you with the marriage because the marriage was all you wanted. You didn't actually want the man. You wanted the marriage.
The fairy tale.
You wanted the fairy tale. So the man feels that he gave you what you wanted. You wanted the marriage. You wanted the money. You wanted the kids. You wanted all of this crap. And never consider what he's mentally going through. Never considers what he invests into the relationship. A lot of men deal with this. And so what they end up doing is getting things outside of the relationship. And what? The woman is still mad.
Have you guys ever noticed that women are always putting down and never supporting women who stand up for men, but they're always praising women and setting up for the women who completely try to destroy men's reputation and who put men down in general? Like, I find that so interesting. Why is it that women hate men so much? Why is it that women can't stand another woman who's actually going to defend men for whatever reason? Why is it that women immediately feel attacked when women are saying truths about men and women are standing up for men? Very suspicious.
I think it's time for women to wake up and stop being delusional about it, though. And stop thinking like, my man, my man, my man, and just be like, you know, he's gonna cheat. And that's that. Either you realize that and then you stop dealing with them, or you realize that and I guess you stay. But don't be surprised, you know? You can't be surprised. I think at this point, a lot of adult women know, but I think it's maybe just holding on to hope that it's really not like that, but it really is. It really fucking is. Maybe the truth is that men were never raised to love us. They were raised to use us, and we've been trained to call that love. But once you see it clearly, you can't unsee it. You don't have to stay. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to die for someone else's lies. This isn't me being bitter. This is me just speaking the truth about these topics. It doesn't matter how much you love someone that isn't meant to be monogamous, like they are not going to be monogamous, and that's just reality. You know, I think if I was to be generous, I'd say like 5% of men maybe will be monogamous, but doubtful.
I'm gonna say this, ladies, I know it's a few reasons why you want to control your man, and one of the reasons is because sometimes I feel like love and effort is not enough. So if he piss you off, you give him silent treatments. If he don't text or call back quick enough, you writing disrespectful paragraphs or blocking his number. If he hanging out, you blowing up his phone, telling him he ain't shit, you don't need him, and you're done fucking with him because he ain't come home when you told him to. Or if he ain't moving how you want him to, you ain't cooking, cleaning, no coochie or nothing, doing all of these things to control him. But I'm gonna give y'all a different way to go about it. When you're ready for him to come home, instead of being combative, do this. Baby, I miss you, but enjoy yourself. Dinner almost ready, and do you need anything else? Nurturing him with feminine energy. He piss you off, instead of giving him silent treatments, try this. Baby, you hurt my feelings, but I made your lunch and your work clothes in the dryer. We can talk about it later. Nurturing him with that feminine energy gonna break the ice so y'all can communicate properly. If he not texting or calling back quick enough, it's probably because he tired of arguing or he tired of you trying to control how he texts and call you. Now that's something y'all gotta talk about and work on. And he's probably used to you getting an attitude whenever he don't move how you want him to. So instead of getting an attitude, switch it up a little bit. Give him random BJs after an argument or tell him, baby, I'm gonna work on listening to you more. So ladies, stop trying to control your man. The true power is in him noticing despite you having an attitude or being upset with him, you still show up.
Fact that there are so many women in my comments who are responding saying that they're not saying that all men, but most men would take advantage of women and grape everybody if they didn't have access to corn. And it lets you know how they think about men. And that troubles me because they will have sons if they do not have sons already, and they will raise these children. What do you think about that little boy that you're raising? Your sweet son that you raise, you cook for, you take to school, is about to go off in a world where a lot of the women that walk past him think that he's about to take advantage of them. You like, no, I know my son. My son's not going to do that. I raised him good. That's what you're doing to other people's sons. You do not know these men. And you're already having this preconceived notion of what all men are. And even if you say not all men, y'all mean all men. Or y'all mean 10%. That won't. I can't imagine what it does to the male mind to walk around feeling like he's a perceived villain all the time. That's what this feminist culture has done to men.
The happiest women I know hate men. I know that sounds backwards, but I recognize that having a love and loyalty for men, being male-centered, is literally the route to devastation. The women that I see the happiest, especially with men, are the ones that hate them. I met a guy and I thought he was so cute. He was at this conference. We ended up going out and he was being so flirtatious. I was like, ooh, he gave me money to throw at the strip clubs. It was like honestly a dream come true, right? It was real romantic. And he was even trying to like, oh, we could leave right now. DDD. And I was like, not too much, right? Why is it at the end of the night, he ends up saying, you know, I was like, oh yeah, it was really cool meeting you. And he was like, yeah, you too. But to be fair, you'll probably never see me again. I'm in a relationship. And to be clear, he was being incredibly flirtatious, incredibly suggestive, and even asked me if I was going to bed, and as if to insinuate that like, well, there's something else that you could be doing. And I shut that down. And that's when he revealed he's in a relationship. Imagine if I was with the shits. So self-serving. They're so selfish. They're so self-centered. And it's like, imagine being selfless for someone self-centered. Imagine like being open-minded, having an open heart, and all they want to do is just open your legs. And if you're not going to do that, they're like, all right, so anyways, bye. Whoa. My friends that are the happiest with men say, I just now started to see them as human. They had to earn humanity. That's it.
Can't allow ourselves to live in this space where it's a disdain for men for the rest of our lives. At some point, we have to come to peace with the fact that we live in a patriarchy and we have to protect ourselves from the men who do not respect us, do not love us, do not care for us. We can continue and we should continue to fight for justice, for equality, for equity. More than anything, we should fight for a system that benefits us. We should continue to create our own communities, create our own systems. But what we shouldn't do is continue to cultivate hate for any aspect of mankind, especially if there are people who just want to evolve and want to do better. We need to also learn how to coexist peacefully with the men who want to do the work. And again, this is not to dismiss the very valid hate that comes with being mistreated or being oppressed. That hate is valid and we need to feel those feelings. And I've even said, it's almost like hating men, going through this phase of hating men, being a misandrist, is like a rites of passage as you are Healing from the shit that men have done to you, living in a patriarchal society and system, being force-fed propaganda that was not to your benefit but to your detriment, seeing men be raised to get away with whatever they wanted, and seeing you be raised to be a servant, to be a slave, and to not be loved properly. It's like we were genuinely set up by this system. We were set up by society, by our parents. They raised us to be wives, but didn't raise men to be husbands. And this is what's caused a lot of women to be in abusive relationships. It's what's caused a lot of division. But this hate, we have to transmute it. That's all I'm saying. We have to practice alchemy. We have to practice alchemy. Hate them niggas, for sure. But don't stay there too long, bro. Transmit that shit. Transmute that shit. And let that anger become something greater. Let it be the driving force for why you do the community work that you do. Let it be the reason you choose not to settle, instead of you holding on to false beliefs that tell you that men are incapable of loving. How can you be a feminist and agree that men have been programmed to be beast, to be the type of people that they are in today's society, and then simultaneously agree that they're just not capable of love? So which one is it? Were they conditioned to be this way, or is this just who they were always at their core and who they were destined to be? You got to pick a side.